Well, hello folks, and welcome to the first episode of my new gardening channel, The Plant Lady and the Fuzz. And I am out here getting ready to prep my container gardens out here and get some summer crops going in there. Now, I actually went out and bought some transplants, a bunch of them. So I got some tomatoes, a bunch of herbs, a bunch of peppers as well. Mostly herbs because that's what we use the most of. But a question that I am commonly asked is, can I plant now? Now, I am down here in Virginia, southeastern Virginia at that, Hampton Roads area. And so we had a pretty abnormal winter. And therefore, I have been planting through the winter, all of last year. But when it comes to these summer crops, you know, I'm in the field of horticulture as a career. But when people ask me about planting right now, I tell them they take a risk when you do. I don't give, that's not the answer that they want, but that's the answer that I give. We have not passed our frost date yet. So our frost date around here averages about April 15th. And depending on where you are located, it can be later or it can be earlier in the year. So Florida, I don't even know if you guys have a frost date, but frosts do come to Florida. And then, you know, sometimes you see, oh, we have an orange shortage due to the frost in Florida. Sometimes that happens. If you're in Michigan, where I'm originally from, our frost date is well into May. And so I have had some frost dates occur just before Mother's Day, especially when I was living in West Virginia. I went on ahead and planted some basil, which is a summer annual, and I got hit. I took a risk. The weather was nice, and then all of a sudden in the forecast, it dropped down to below 32 degrees night temperatures. But I am feeling okay with the frost date. For me personally, I'm going to plant a little earlier right now. And that's solely just because I have backup plants, and I have some frost cloth or row cover that I can throw over these plants should the temperatures drop significantly. So you definitely want to check your local news and check for temperatures. So right now, I'm going to check the 7-day forecast and see what our nightly temperatures are going to be. Okay, so nighttime temps, kind of pushing it. Today is March 27th. Oh, for the love of God. So the first few days are supposed to be in the 50s. Now when we get into next week, it's supposed to be in the 40s. So you have to watch that. So I may hold off just because of those 40-degree temperatures. So things like the sweet peppers, the tomatoes, what else? I got some oregano, some thyme. I'm in the basil. I think I said basil, I'm not sure. I'm going to hold off on some of those. But the chives, the parsley, the cilantro, no, I didn't get parsley. The cilantro, the rosemary, that is definitely going into the ground, no questions asked. But in the meantime, if you are growing the right plants as far as seasonality, you can definitely do it. This garlic has been growing here since February. I think I planted these back in early February, and look at them now. They've been through frosts, they've been through cold nights, and they're doing just fine. These onions are finally poking their head out. They're about 3 weeks old. The thing about these containers is that it has a reservoir at the bottom to hold water. So it's a self-watering container. But you know, if you don't have enough roots in there to soak up the water, it's not going to go anywhere. Oh my God, yes. That's a lot of water. Yeah, oh my God, it's even coming out like that. Oh my God. Yes, so drainage is definitely an issue here. And I'll have to wash this container. If anything, I should be collecting that because this is... I did have some fertilizer in here. And now it's just running off. That's very bad practice. So let me find some sort of way to collect this water. So I am back, and the almighty Chinese food container saves me. I think that's shallow enough to collect water, and then I can transfer it into this little bin right here. Because this material that I'm working with, as far as the potting soil, is raised bed soil, and it's mostly composted material. So essentially I'm collecting compost tea in this garden here. I just wish I had a bigger container. This soil that I have, it does have a little bit of poultry litter in here, or poultry manure. And essentially I can put this back in the system as fertilizer. The contents of it is going to be very small as far as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, but it's still good usable fertilizer, and I don't have to purchase fertilizer. Now we'll see if the drainage, if the better, with us emptying out the water, we'll see if this will help these plants grow a little bit better. Okay. Well, where the hell did my lettuce seed go? Oh, right here. Alright, so Grand Rapids, this is a green leaf lettuce. Usually I sow a mesclun mix, but I didn't like how it turned out for me over the fall and winter. So I'm just going to grow a straight green leaf lettuce. If I had red sales lettuce, I would grow that as well. I think I might. I have to check my seed inventory. But this will do for right now. It says that it's tip burn resistant. Okay, and so the goal of this is to, let's see, this is a 55-day plant when it's big. Now we're going to give this maybe like a month. And once it gets into like baby lettuce size height, maybe 3-4 inches, we're just going to harvest it and let it grow, harvest it again, and we'll keep harvesting it as baby lettuce until it's exhausted. I'm going to sow 2 beds of that. So looks like Orion, the okayest boy, is chilling in the kitchen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replant in here this marjoram. Never really used it. So, you know, it grew very well. It's been growing all winter. And never used it. Some folks gave me some recipes. Apparently this is one of the main ingredients in Brunswick stew. But I'm really not a Brunswick stew person. But it smells good. It looks great. It did have a lot of aphids in here over the winter. But you know, if we're not using it, I just get rid of it. Oh, and then also before we move on, this rosemary here, it really didn't do too well. So, you know, it smells wonderful, but there's something going on with it, and I don't know exactly what. Its growth was very stagnant, and I'm really not going to take the time to figure out what I could do to cure it. So it's gone. Now, if there is an herb that we use a lot of, oh, Gotta evict another slug. It is cilantro. So I'm going to plant cilantro and put it in the shade area back there, because this thing will bolt upon receiving heat as well. And I want to get as much use out of it as I can. How many plants are here? There's 1, 2, and 3. Oh man. So now if you're very skilled, you can separate these 3 and create 3 separate plants. But I'm not going to do that, not today. I don't feel like it. I mean, they're so cheap. I will break up the roots and we'll just have one big nice cilantro plant. I have more growing up in the front. We use a lot of cilantro, no joke. There's cilantro. And I'm going to put these on the staircase here. It'll get a little sun. Officer Thick's barbecue and grilling materials are here. And, you know, that'll be the fuzz part. You know, when he's cooking, I'll come out here and see if he'll talk for you all, and he can let you in on some grilling tips, because before he became a cop, he was a restaurant manager, and so cooking is very much a passion of his. It's how he deals with his PTSD. And I'm here for it. I've actually gained some weight ever since meeting him. I've gained about 10 pounds just because we eat very well. So he has some delicious meal ideas for you guys if he's willing to talk. I'm still trying to talk him into it. Now we're going to plant some chives. I totally recommend planting chives in containers. I learned my lesson with that. They can be quite invasive. If you put them in the ground, they will take over. I did seed some chives, but man, I had a tough time with them. They just did not want to grow. So I bought some transplants. Okay, and in here we'll go more rosemary. I couldn't resist. I love rosemary. It's one of my favorite herbs. Don't use a whole lot of it, but boy does it enhance the dish. And we'll see how well that one does. And we will put that, well, where the hell are we going to put it? We'll leave it here for right now. Everything needs to get watered anyway. And dust myself off. And then what I'm going to do is clean up a little bit. Water in the seeds, water in the potatoes, water in these herb containers here. And I'm going to clean up. But yeah, this is the New Gardening Channel. We have a lot of plans for this summer. Particularly, I will be taking out this strip and adding flowers. That'll be our little flower garden. Definitely more containers. And we don't know exactly what to do with this sand pit. Officer Thick wants to put patio pavers in there. I'm content with, you know, keeping it weeded, put a couple chairs out here and a fire pit, so that way we can light it up and just chill and drink our wine and beer. So there'll be more gardening outdoors here. Hoping you can follow along with us. Hopefully Officer Thick will, you know, let us see how he grills up a mean steak. And then yeah, I'm totally available to help answer questions. If you have any questions about gardening, if you wanted to ask Officer Thick something as you get to know him, we'd be more than happy to answer them for you. But I'm going to take off here, and I will catch up with you guys later. Peace.